Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chasing a Murder podcast. We're on part 153 of the series Life Beyond the Grave, the Doomsday Serial Killers. Lori Vallow has taken control of Chad Daybell's life. She had been married 4 times. Her last husband had been shot by her brother. Lori has 3 children, 2 of which live at home. She had been married 4 times and now planning a 5th wedding with her lover, Chad Daybell, who was married. Lori has grown very impatient with the fact that Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy Daybell, is still living in his house. Chad and Tammy live in Salem, Idaho. As I said, Lori began to grow very impatient. She likes to control her men. Every man that Lori has been married to, she has sculptured them into the image she had in mind. She likes to control how they dress, how they style their hair, what they eat, what they read, and basically what they breathe. Chad Daybell has been making a few changes, and rumor has it that Tammy Daybell grew suspicious for that very reason. If you follow this story, you know that Lori has a long history of conforming the men in her life. Lori was now demanding his isolation, and she wanted that to happen yesterday. 2 of the men in her 4 marriages ended up being an empty, hollow shell by the time they divorced. As Chad and Lori grew older, their fantasy desires seemed to grow more intense. Their desire to live in this fantasy world was overwhelming them. The perfect recipe of disaster had come together. Our placement in the timeline is the beginning of September 2019. In fact, Chad and Lori's brother Alex Cox have become quite good friends. Investigators actually uncovered that Alex Cox was over at Chad Daybell's home September 6th, hanging out. Why were they hanging out on this property? Well, many people have speculated that since it's 2 days before Tylee Ryan disappeared, they were planning her demise. And as they are planning these evil deeds, Tammy Daybell is still living in that home. So were they planning the demise of J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan? While Chad and Alex are hanging out at the house, Lori has her children, J.J. and Tylee, taking old toys and dumping them out in the middle of the townhomes. JJ was having difficulty since he just lost his father, and now he's being told that his sister Tylee may go away. Why is that? Well, many people assume that Lori was tired of dealing with Tylee, the brat, tired of dealing with her bratty outburst, her bratty depression, and her open dislike for several of Lori Vallow's associates, Melanie Gibb being one of those associates. Tylee Ryan was complaining about the essential oils that Melanie Gibb was wearing. Lori is getting fed up with that. It was no secret that Tylee was not a fan of Chad Daybell either. Tylee Ryan was not shy to tell her mom how she felt about things. Tylee is very concerned about her mother, and especially now that her mother is referring to her as a zombie, a term that Lori will deny using. Before Chad Daybell came along, Lori has shown hints over the many years that Tylee was not her dream child. And not only that, Lori despised her father, Joe Ryan, more than anyone. And Lori had actually used her manipulation skills to coerce people to see things as she wants things to be seen. And after talking and watching interviews with family members and friends, it seems that Lori was very good at hiding that dark side, hiding the costume. She enjoyed painting a perfect picture which didn't exist. It seemed that to Lori, Tylee was a brat teen who needed too much personal time. Tylee's last few years of her life, she spent babysitting and doing whatever was best for her mother. They were moving place to place, very unsteady, School wasn't going so well, and Tylee was going through a tough time, a very tough time during this part of her life. But that doesn't mean anything to Lori. Lori was tired of dealing with Tylee's health issues, her needs, her mental struggles, and she was especially tired of JJ. Both JJ and Tylee around this time were not getting the medications they needed, so it was some major neglect going on. But Lori continued to paint the picture of this very protective mother who was protective of her children. J.J. Vallow's behavior was getting more out of control. He was screaming and physically aggressive. The kids were a complete wreck. Their lives were turned upside down and inside out. One of the reasons for that was Lori was busy orchestrating the timeline and manipulating both her brother Alex Cox and Chad Daybell to organize the end of JJ and Tylee. Lori also liked to do it in a way that the less you know, the better. To know Lori is to know that she was very vindictive, very manipulative, and very sneaky. Lori liked to be ahead of the game. This all applied to her narcissistic behavior. Same time all this stuff is going on, Melanie and Lori are making another podcast, Baptism by Fire. The way that Lori's living her life in this time, it's in the moment. And it's quite busy with things that just really don't make sense. September 2019 on is where Lori Vallow begins to cut off her family members, her mother, her sister, and her brother Adam. Summer and Janice were once light, but now, according to Chad and Lori, they are becoming quite dark. As time pushes forward, several of these once loving family members become zombies. It's very difficult to know exactly where the term zombie started. We know that Melanie Gibb will use this word quite fluently. The fact that she hangs out with Lori Vallow says that both ladies, after some time, become quite comfortable with this word, though Lori will claim this is not a word that she liked to use. Kay during this time is a mess, and she's doing everything she possibly can by law to try to save JJ. And you would think that once Charles was shot, that might give the opportunity for them to actually bring people into the office or even lock them behind bars from some bogus, incident in order to get them off the streets. That's what many cases do that I cover. If they find someone that they believe might be a person of interest or suspect. But that's not the way it went with this case. And my heart absolutely aches for Kay Woodcock because of this. And I can only hope that once Charles Vallow trial begins, that maybe there will be some relief and justice to help get them through the what ifs. But looking back on an interview that Summer Shiplett did makes us understand her true understanding of what happened between Lori and Charles, and that she believed Lori 100%.
Think that she is guilty of the things that she is accused of?
No, I don't. Not even a little bit. I know for a fact that she did not conspire to kill Charles in any way, shape, or form. I spent a lot of time with Lori and Alex leading up to Charles' death, and I know that there was never any kind of discussion like that about it. Charles texted probably 20 or 30 times, ranging from, "I swear I'll be nice, please call me," to "Your end is coming soon." So I saw a lot of threatening texts from him. If Alex hadn't been there, I think Lori and Tylee would have been on the news for a very different reason.
You asked Alex to go to the house that morning.
Yes, I did. I asked Alex the day before Charles was coming if he would please go stay with Lori. He said, "Lori's going to be fine. She can call me if she needs me." And I said, "Please, I have a very sick feeling in my stomach. Please just go stay there." I was going out of town, and I didn't feel safe with Charles coming into town after the things I had read. So I said, "Will you please just go stay there? And if you're there, then maybe nothing will happen." And that's what I thought. I thought it would just be a deterrent from trouble.
Summer was very grateful that it went the way that it did that day. Here's the thing. Summer knew that Adam Cox and Charles was trying to get Lori help. That has nothing to do with threats. When she refers to Charles saying your end is coming soon, Charles is referring to the fact that he's going to get help for Lori and that this craziness is going to end. Charles couldn't understand why in the world Summer and Janice and Barry and several other people in this family wouldn't help him help Lori before it got this far. Quite frankly, I don't think any of us understand why the family didn't take this more seriously as they should have. Now, we've learned that Alex Cox did not seem to be on board with these beliefs, at least 100%, until recently. And this is actually a testimony from Zalima that we're going to listen to, talking about how Alex Cox's ranking started to climb once his beliefs started to align with Lori's. In fact, Alex Cox was not at many of the castings, but now he's more involved with everything that's going on.
Did you learn why Alex was present at the second one, but not the first one?
At first, Chad and Lori had said that Alex was the first creation, only the first time that he had come to the earth. So he had not been in prior worlds. He had only come to this world, and this was his first time in this world. Therefore, he had a very low rating. I believe he was only like a 2 or something like that, and therefore he wasn't spiritually savvy. And then his rating changed. They said that they had found out that Alex had been in other worlds before, and that he had been exalted in other worlds before, and now his spiritual standing had changed.
And when you say they said that, is that Chad and Lori?
Correct.
So now that his spiritual status had changed, he was able to be at the casting?
Correct.
And you talked about assignments being given. Who would give those assignments?
Lori would.
Do you recall what Alex's assignment was? Did Alex seem to believe?
Yes.
Was that second casting successful?
Yes. Again, Lori called Chad to verify that he had been successful, and Chad said that he had been. And but then, just as the first time, later on, we found out that there was again that period of time where another spirit could come and possess the body, and that this time there was a very high dark spirit. There was this demon that had done this for hundreds of years and had done the same thing hundreds of times or thousands of times, and that he was very experienced at doing this. And now Charles' body was possessed by a demon called Hyblos.
So when we talk about demons possessing a body, in most cases, you go to an exorcist in which you are exorcised. This is where you have a demon living inside this physical body along with yourself, your soul. But what Lori and her posse are teaching is Charles, his soul had left his body altogether. and that a demon had taken over his body completely. If they were able to get this demon out of Charles' body, then there would be no soul to occupy it. Therefore, the body would die. They had a small amount of window in order to bind Charles in a way, like tape his mouth or burn that body in order to keep another demon from possessing it. This is something they don't do. So this is why Charles is actually possessed by another demon. I really believe that each casting that they had was some sort of attempt to take the life of the zombie that they were casting out. And if they didn't die, then of course the casting didn't work. My personal belief is I believe that they tried to take the life of Charles Vallow and several other people more than once. So that would be Brandon Boudreaux, Tammy Daybell, and Charles Vallow. Please share your thoughts below. What do you think? Right now, I'm going to go ahead and close out early on this one. And I've been working very hard on these. A lot of work. If you like it, please subscribe, like, and share. I would appreciate that so much. And do not forget to share your thoughts below. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for your support and for watching. And do not forget to share one of our missing girls' faces on your social media today. See you guys soon.